Welcome back to Week 2 of the NFL Explained for Casuals. This is the no bullshit, less than 10-minute video that's going to get you right for Week 3. Kicking off with the Thursday night game, we had the Vikings against my Dirty Birds. Disclaimer, this is not an AJ Brown jersey, this is a Wentz jersey. Please rip me in the comments. Feel free to use the chapters to get to your matchup to see what I say about your team. Nevertheless, the Vikings lost to the Eagles, and the Vikings' biggest problem was turnover. They need to keep the ball in their hands. Jordan Addison played great. Jay Jettis played great. Kirk Cousins played great, and it's not 1 p.m.? On the other hand, the Eagles looked great in the first half and going into the third, but for some reason, they're not trusting Jalen to throw the ball, or he's just not making the right read. That's why AJ Brown and him are arguing, but nevertheless, the Eagles squeak out another game, 2-0, Vikings lose another one. Next, we see the Raiders against the Bills, where the Raiders got absolutely blown out, and there was no essence of the running game with Josh Jacobs. He was one of, if not the top running back last year. They gotta get back to it. For the Bills, it's clockwork. It's another great game for them. It's a great bounce back, and this is exactly what you want to see coming off a loss. The Ravens barely beat the Bengals, and it's on the back of Joe Burrow getting his calf injury, and also OBJ getting hurt too, so both teams have to deal with injury issues. It's not a pretty win from the Ravens, but nonetheless, a win's a win, and the Bengals are just scared. Joe Burrow better be all right. Make sure he's healthy. Next, we have the Chiefs against the Jags in a very low-scoring affair. The Chiefs just getting back with Travis Kelce in the lineup. Mahomes is looking a lot better than it was Week 1, but still weary on offense as the Jags couldn't get anything going, and the run game just wasn't there. ETN, 3 yards a carry. Tank basically didn't even see the field. It was a very lackluster showing on both offenses, but obviously against two formidable foes and defenses, it's going to be tough. Chargers against Titans. This is a great bounce-back win for the Titans. Win by 3 points. It's a Nick Folk winner. Ryan Tannehill did not look as bad as he did Week 1. But for some reason, the Chargers keep losing these close games. Day in, day out, you can go to any game the last season. They're losing by less than 6 points. Yes, Eckler wasn't there, so the run game is naturally not as efficient, but gotta get something going. The Packers end up losing to the Falcons by 1 point, and for some reason, the run game was not there for the Packers. A.J. Dillon just is not it right now. He looks like a Jag. Just another guy for those that don't know. But what did I say about the Falcons? I've said it since last year, since we got the schedule. They will be one of the top teams this year, especially with Bijan coming. They played through him, which was amazing to see because that's exactly what all of us have been asking for. So big ups to the Falcons and finally getting Drake London. Now we gotta get Pitts in this lineup. The Seahawks end up beating the Lions in OT. This is a great win for them, but both offenses started very slow and less than 20 points at the half, but yet they end at 68. The Lions now have to monitor David Montgomery to see if he's going to be out, but I've been saying this for the last week and a half. You have to play through Jahmyr Gibbs. He is one of your best weapons on offense other than the Sun God. Play through him. This is an opportunity when Montgomery's hurt, not to sit back and to say, oh, well, we got to get someone going. Get Gibbs going. Next, we got the Colts against the Texans, where the Colts end up winning on the back of Zach Moss going crazy and Gardner Minshew being able to hold the line for Anthony Richardson. Great win for them. And the Texans, Nico Collins, 147 yards. CJ Stroud is starting to get up there. He doesn't put himself in bad situations, so he's not going to throw interceptions. So again, like I said, this defense of the Texans are going to keep them in games, and as long as CJ Stroud makes strides, they could be a sneaky contender for the playoffs, not the Super Bowl. The Bears lose to the Bucs. We need to see what the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts with Justin Fields this year. Do more design runs. Do more of this RPO action. You got Khalil Herbert. You got Rashad Johnson. You got these people. You got now like DJ Moore. What else do you want? The line has to be better, I know, for the Bears. And for the Bucs, they are playing out of their mind right now. They're 2-0. Their defense is playing great. Baker Mayfield is acting like a goon on the field. I would love to see what they're going to do the rest of the season, but unfortunately, I have them losing next week. So, good win nonetheless. Next, we got the Giants and the Cardinals, where the Giants look great in the second half, and the Cardinals look great in the first half. Giants, I gave you props. You did better this week. Danny Dimes played a little bit better. Cardinals, I don't know if it's because you guys are tanking or anything like that, but you had a win in your hands and you let it slip. But nothing taken away from the Giants. They played a great game in the second half, and I like to see what they do the next couple weeks. Next, we got the 49ers against the Rams, where Puka went crazy again. The Rams, I don't know whether it's the Rams or Stafford, but he loves force-feeding one person, and right now that's Puka. And that offense is buzzing through him, especially now with Kyren Williams starting to take that number one role. But the 49ers should have won this game by 10, 15, but for some reason they just could not get up to speed on blowing this team out. But the biggest thing for the Rams was just turnovers. And for the 49ers, they got to start relying less on CMC. Get Elijah Mitchell in there. We don't want to see CMC go down 6-7 games in the season. Next, we got the Jets losing to the Cowboys, where the Jets, this better not be the story of the season. I know Aaron Rodgers went down, but you didn't even feed Brees. I mean, this dude's getting, 3-4 touches? No. I know he's coming back from injury, but he looked great in week 1, and I know he wasn't really fit. That's why he didn't really score that touchdown, but you got to feed him. The Cowboys, it's like clockwork right now. You guys are buzzing on all cylinders. You got even the tight end scoring touchdowns, 1 catch, 1 reception, touchdown. I don't have much to say. I like to see what the Cowboys do as well. Next, in one of the games of the week, Commanders against the Broncos, where the Commanders won, but they almost choked at the end. The Commanders look good on offense. You got Brian Robinson scoring 2 touchdowns, going absolutely crazy on the ground. And then you had the Broncos airing it out with Marvin Mims and Johnson. It looked good. It looked like a fun game going back and forth, but for some reason, the Broncos could not finish the deal. But for the Broncos, you got to establish the run game if you want to be good, and they just didn't do that last game. So big ups to the Commanders on that big win. Next, we go to the Dolphins against the Patriots, where the Dolphins won, but it was closer than we expected it to be. For some reason, the Patriots hate scoring in the first half, let alone in the first 3 quarters. They always seem to score in the last 2 quarters, but they need to start scoring early if they want to stay in games and if they want to win. For the Dolphins, you're going up against a great defense, an amazing coach, probably the best coach of all time. It's a good win. Get too involved. Hope that Waddle's not hurt. Play through Raheem Mostert, but you want to monitor your running backs because they're going down like flies. But it's a good win for the Dolphins, and I said it earlier in the year before the season started. Tua is a dark horse for the MVP, and look who is the favorite for the MVP. That's why you gotta watch these videos. I like that one. Nonetheless, good win for the Dolphins. Patriots, crazy defense right now. Next, we got the Saints against the Panthers, where the Saints barely won. I said it last week, I am not impressed with the Saints. I don't know if it's just Derek Carr making stupid decisions, but they just don't look that good. Michael Thomas is starting to come back, which is nice to see after the 3 years of injuries, but the Panthers' defense looked great. It is an L with Shaq Thompson getting injured, but the Panthers could be very good as long as that offense gets up to speed, and they got to play through Thielen, and they got to play that dual running back they have with Chuba and Miles Sanders, because Miles Sanders looked terrible, but nonetheless, it's a young offense aside from Thielen, but I expect more for the Panthers, whether they win games or not. And finally, we have the Browns against the Steelers, where the Steelers won and the Browns lost twice. How'd they lose twice? Nick Chubb is out for the year. I don't know if you've seen the injury. It looks bad. His knee is twisted, and I'm pretty sure it's the same one that got injured in college. Big loss for the Browns. They don't look good on offense. Deshaun Watson, I'm pretty sure, is washed. Maybe Jerome Ford can carry the load until they sign Kareem Hunt again. I'm not too sure. But for the Steelers, you gotta do something on offense. Play through Pickens. The dude had a 70-something yard touchdown, and it wasn't because of Pickett. That man was hitting 21 miles per hour after the catch. That's why they scored. But their defense went crazy. The Steelers' defense looks amazing. TJ Watt, now in the history books. I would love to see the Steelers late in the season, but they're not going to get late in the season unless they play through their best players. And Najee Harris is not one of them, unfortunately. He looks terrible. I said it before as well. He's one of the most inefficient running backs. I said it in my fantasy football video up here. But that was week 2, and if you're still a casual and you don't understand, and you gotta subscribe, you gotta follow this channel, because we do the no bullshit around here. If you found value, thank you for watching. Tune in next week. We do these every single week. Make sure you're not a casual when you're talking to your friends, your family, because we've all been there, and you hate being the odd guy out. In saying that, thank you again. Tune in next week.